If you're watching this video, you're probably wondering how to make your community a better, stronger place. Well, that's where the Wayne County Community Schools Fund comes in. But before we talk about the fund, we should talk a little about community schools. What is a community school? Community schools is a strategy for developing students who are college, career, and citizenship ready when they enter adulthood. Community schools is a movement, a revolution that is sweeping across the nation. And it's nothing new. It doesn't require new curriculum or new methods of teaching. It is a getting back to basics way of thinking. And the basics of our education system is that our schools are supposed to teach academics. We want our students to graduate prepared to be employees or entrepreneurs, the builders and crafters of tomorrow. We want them to possess the skills and adaptability they need to survive in a world that doesn't yet exist. But to paraphrase Maslow, skills and knowledge are a higher order need. First, a student's basic needs must be met. It is easy to understand why you cannot teach a student who is hungry, who doesn't know where her next meal is coming from, or when. You cannot teach a student who is homeless, or unsure of where he will be sleeping tonight, or how he will get there and back to school again in the morning. And you cannot teach a student whose home life is chaotic, ravaged by violence, abuse, addiction, mental illness, or the trauma caused by any or all of these situations. Realizing this, schools have grown over the years. They have developed, or at the very least attempted to develop, capacities to address these and other serious needs. They have tried to become all things for all of their students. They have developed nutrition programs, snacks, lunches, and breakfasts, and in some cases dinner and food for long weekends or school breaks. They have developed health and wellness services. This might look like an on-site doctor or dental hygienist. It might be an exercise program outside of regular PE classes. Some have developed mental health programs. Some have developed enrichment programs in order to expose their students to fine arts, to facilitate college visits, or to introduce a wide variety of career options. Some assist their students and their families to secure temporary housing and to improve their living conditions. And every district has developed programs to address the specific issues that they and their communities face. Community schools is a strategy that says that schools don't have to be all things to all people. Schools do not have to develop capacity and expertise in every area of a student's life. Schools do not have to be an entire community unto themselves. Community schools says that specialized services may already exist out in the community. Rather than tackling an issue themselves, a community school partners with existing community resources. Perhaps nutritional needs can be met through a collaboration with a community food pantry. Physical and dental health needs can be met through partnership with local providers. The best scenario would be clinical space on the school campus staffed by local professionals. Space in the school can be made available for local wellness programs. Yoga, exercise, and meditation, to name a few, can be offered to students, staff, and community members. Mental and emotional health, as well as other counseling or advising service providers, can be made possible through collaboration as well. The concept behind community schools is so obvious, and it makes such perfect sense, that it is a very easy idea to grasp. Community schools uses resources that are local and already available in order to provide necessary services to students, families, and the community. This reduces expenses, builds personal attachments to communities, and frees schools up to focus on what they, and only they, can do: educate students. But the question is, who is going to pay for all of this? Well, if the expenses are predictable, recurring, or related to capital improvements, the school district can plan on and budget for any expenses related to forming partnerships with existing service providers and community members. Remember, the costs of these partnerships is a fraction of what it costs to develop these services at the district level. But sometimes an expense arises that is unexpected, occasional, purely experiential in nature, or one that provides for an enrichment opportunity that wasn't predicted and otherwise planned for. Who is able to pay for these expenses that enhance a student's overall educational experience? This is where the Wayne County Community Schools Fund comes in. But don't think of the fund as a pot of money that is going to fund individual learning experiences and field trips. The Wayne County Community Schools Fund is being created as an endowment fund operated under the auspices of the Wayne County Community Endowment, which is in itself managed and overseen by the Rochester Area Community Foundation. The Community Foundation was founded in 1972 and has nearly $500 million of assets under management, so they're not going anywhere. Once the Community Schools Fund is ready to start awarding grants, local stakeholders will convene to review applications and make recommendations for funding to the Wayne County Community Endowment. The endowment will then review those recommendations to ensure that the applications align with the intended purpose of the fund and make their final recommendations to the Rochester Area Community Foundation. The foundation will review the final recommendations to ensure that all awards are allowable under the Community Schools Fund guidelines, as well as under all local, state, and federal laws. So all awards from the Wayne County Community Schools Fund will be checked, double-checked, and triple-checked to ensure that your donation is being invested back into your community wisely and properly. And because it is an endowment fund, your donations are saved and invested to grow over time. Eventually, once our fund has reached $1 million or so, we will begin to spend the interest generated by the fund while leaving the principal intact. So the fund is not a pot of money to be given once and then it is gone. It is a living and growing thing that will provide important resources while remaining healthy and strong for a very long time to come. You will be able to direct 90% of your donation and the money it earns while growing the fund to fund projects within the school district of your choice. 9% of your donation will be used to fund projects throughout Wayne County, including within your district of choice. 1% or less of your donation will cover expenses related to the management and operation of the fund. It is important to note that although you have the ability to donate to a specific school district, we are using the term district as a geographic location and not as the sole recipient of our funding efforts. Successfully funded projects will be operated by our schools and community partners. The Wayne County Community Schools Fund is a resource for us all. Its only goal is to improve educational outcomes for all of our students. People would like to know what kind of projects might be supported by our Community Schools Fund. Here are a few examples of activities and events that have occurred in Wayne County over the past several months that would be considered for funding. The Youth Leadership Forum happens twice a year, and it brings together students in grades 7 through 12 throughout the county to learn from speakers and from each other, and to begin developing a voice of their own. The LEAP Summer program in Lyons recently welcomed My Brother's Keeper, who brought in several speakers to talk to students about personal adversity and how to overcome it. Recently, one of our districts needed a large number of substitutes to cover for an entire grade level of teachers who had a joint planning day. Community schools brought in a dozen volunteers who provided students with activities and enrichment for the day. These are just 3 examples of projects that could be supported by the Community Schools Fund. Support could be in the form of materials and supplies, food, snacks, and refreshments, or perhaps to cover speaker expenses. To direct your donations to a specific school district, visit the Fund's online donation page at www.communityschoolsfund.org. After completing the usual information, simply enter your school district of choice in the Additional Comments Requests box located under Section 4, Honorary and Memorial Giving. If donating by check, simply write your district of choice on the memo line. Make the check itself payable to Rochester Area Community Foundation, Wayne County Community Schools Fund. Your donation to the fund will be used to improve academic outcomes for our students, produce students who are better connected to their communities and to their world, to build better and stronger communities. And the best part is that this will all happen right here in Wayne County. We were planning on holding a big fund launch event for late March 2020, but the COVID-19 pandemic put that on hold for a bit. Please stay tuned for a new date and time once life returns to normal. In the meantime, we need your support. Please consider donating now at www.communityschoolsfund.org. If you aren't able to support our efforts financially, please help us spread the word about the community schools movement in Wayne County and about our fund. Or contact us to learn how you can become a community champion or team member within your own school district. Thanks for watching, and stay well.